So there's this guy out there named Dan Bilzerian. For those of you who weren't aware, Dan is a celebrity amongst teenage boys everywhere. He first became famous because of his Instagram page, which is basically the hardest attempt I've ever seen by an influencer to sell their lavish lifestyle. A lifestyle that just screams, I know you wish you had this, aka how to be a tool 101. Flying on jets, riding jet skis, spending nights in bed with 10 models. As a matter of fact, his whole brand is just sexy women doing naughty things. Guns, and trying to convince everyone that he's hot with his over manicured beard. You're like 40, dude, just give it up. So while I was editing this video, I found some pictures of Dan before he grew the beard, and Jesus Christ, I see why he keeps it. He looks terrible. He's like an in-shape Shane Dawson. This is just someone I would never trust. He seems like such a lying snake that I half expect him to start slithering around every time he's on my screen. And when this guy first got famous for his Instagram post, everyone started wondering how he got this money in the first place. This is when he tried to explain that he won all of his fortunes by playing poker, which is just about the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. He acts like he was at the poker table with Russian billionaires like Matt Damon and Rounders. I'm sorry, but Warren Buffett isn't playing poker with someone who hangs out with Vitaly and Logan Paul. He's known for throwing these huge influencer parties in his Californian mansion, and he's actually made quite the online presence for himself in the last couple of years. This newfound fame has forced Dan to lie time and time again about where his money truly comes from.
So how did you make your money then?
Playing poker.
You made it all playing poker?
Yeah.
Wow, that is insane.
He just insists that high-stakes poker was his big ticket, and that apparently one year he made over $50 million from poker alone. Which just can't be true. There's simply not that much money in poker, and there's barely any professionals that have made more than $10 million.
And at any given point, this guy, you know, and he's a maniac, he's a billionaire. So at any point, if this guy says all in, I got to make a decision for $18 million, you know.
In every interview, that's all he does. He just babbles on and lies and lies and lies. The real truth of the matter is that he had a rich weasel father who screwed a lot of people over and went to jail for tax evasion and fraud, but still made a lot of money in that time, putting a majority of it in a trust fund for Dan before he went to prison. And when Dan turned 30, about 10 years ago, he got this trust fund money and started selling a teenage boy's wet dream. But now Dan's whole world is gonna crash down around him, as once again we get to see a peek behind the Wizard of Oz curtain and see another one of these fake influencers selling their followers a BS lifestyle and brand.
Where do you want to be in 20 years?
The goal is to make a couple $2 billion in cannabis, spend more time surfing in Hawaii, and then I want to be president.
This guy has 32 million followers on Instagram, though I would take that number with a grain of salt, as you will soon see that this guy is pretty damn fake.
But this 31,000 square foot behemoth in Bel Air is one of the most outrageous homes I've ever been invited to see.
This big house he bought with all that poker money turns out to be rented. Ouch. You know, this would be a lot like me renting a Lamborghini and then driving it around, doing a little documentary about how I own it. Oh, it's just another day at the office, there's the cup holder, I'm just riding around in the Lamb. And Dan wasn't even the one renting it. He was just charging it all to a company called Ignite, a company Dan himself founded that basically sells a bunch of bullshit. And last year, his failure of a company lost over $50 million, so in 2020, everyone kinda knew they were doomed to fail. He was spending over $200,000 a month for this place alone, all for the fake flex. Other money Dan spent included $60,000 on a Star Wars gun set, a $50,000 bed frame, a $75,000 paintball field. All the women he was hanging out with were being paid to be there, and he also spent tens of thousands to promote his Instagram page. Basically what happened here is Dan was funneling investor money into his company and then using said money to promote an image and brand of extreme wealth, almost trying to be like the modern day Hugh Hefner, but the only difference is that we knew Hugh actually had money. The man was publicly the owner of one of the most famous magazines on the planet. He was kinda like Stan Lee but with hoes. This all while Dan got his money from his weasel father and then tried to weasel even more people out of their money himself. As it turns out, I guess the apple didn't fall very far from the tree. And at the end of the day, this is nothing more than an insecure man who needs a lot of attention. That's really why he did all this, paying millions over the years for beard manicures and models to hang around. Oh, and you can't forget the steroids. The guy whose whole brand was basically, screw you losers, my life is so much better than yours, turns out to be the biggest loser of all. You gotta love it. Everything about this man turned out to be fake, and it's sad, you know, teenage boys shouldn't be looking up to guys like this. It's really just not realistic. It's all a fantasy, a dream that a creepy little man wanted to sell you. I promise you that no one with real wealth would even have the time to do any of this. But I just wanted to say thanks for watching today's video, guys. Like the video, share it with a homie, and I'll catch you next time. It's been your boy, the Tan Superman. Peace.